We got an absolutely insane Xbox deal to talk about. A revival of one of the best Xbox controllers is coming, and Apple is being investigated for blocking Xbox Game Pass. So as we know, Black Friday is just around the corner. There are a ton of great deals that are already out and are going to continue to come out when it comes to consoles and it comes to games. Now is that time to go and pick up all the stuff that you've been waiting to buy because the prices are great. I mean, even games that just got released are getting slashed in prices, like Gotham Knights and Sonic Frontiers. You're already seeing huge cuts in the prices on those games. Maybe it's because they didn't sell well, or maybe just because they're really trying to take advantage of that massive holiday rush where everybody is going out there and buying all the games to get themselves through now to the end of the year. But there's an absolutely insane deal going on right now if you want to pick up an Xbox Series S or an Xbox Series X, and I'll show you what that is, because I feel like this is going to be something you're not going to see at this price for a very long time. So here is the deal itself, and it has to do with Instagram and the Microsoft Store. Apparently now, if you go over to Instagram Shop, you can get 20% off coupon with your first purchase in Instagram Shop. I don't know about you, but I've literally never used Instagram before to buy anything from their shopping side of things. So this would be definitely something that would work for me. And people are now able to get an Xbox Series S for $199, and it's also working on the Xbox Series X, which people are getting for $399. You can see it says here that the Xbox Series X also becomes $399 on Instagram Shop. And if we go through the comments here, I mean, there are great deals across the board. Even here in Canada, the Xbox Series S is generally $380, and now it's popping up for $299. So it's at that regular retail price that it is in the US. I mean, that's a great price for the Xbox Series S. And then we even see here in terms of pounds, it's 189 pounds if you're in the UK. And people in the comments here are showing that this deal actually works. So Xbox Series S, they have it in Instagram Shop. It is coming up as $50 off with that 20% off, and people are getting it for $199. So this is by far the best time now to try to jump in here and get an Xbox Series S or an Xbox Series X. I doubt we're going to see these prices for a very long time after these deals. I mean, even if they do a price cut, which they've done for the holiday season, bringing down the Series S to $250, getting it for $199 is crazy. And going forward, is this price cut going to last? Is this something that they are just putting in there now for the holiday season? And are they going to bring it back up to $299 as the regular MSRP in 2023? We don't know if they're even going to consider raising the prices. We know Phil Spencer did come out and say right now they're not raising the prices, but they always have to keep that in mind just to consider all their options. I would be pretty shocked if Xbox actually decides to raise the price of the Series X or the Series S. It just doesn't seem like it would fit in with their model and with their strategy. It's different than the PlayStation strategy. For PlayStation, for them, they know that the demand for the PS5 is so crazily high that they can raise the prices. And because the PS5 is the only place you can play certain games, that people are still going to pay for it. With the Xbox, demand is crazy high, but they give you the options to play their games on other devices. So people are probably, if they saw a price increase, would just consider going somewhere else. So they're trying to expand out their ecosystem. They're trying to get multiple entry points. Their goal here isn't to make more money off of each sale of the console, at least I don't think. But if you're jumping into this now, go check out that deal and let me know in the comments below if you did get that Instagram Shop deal. All right, the next thing I quickly want to show off is the revival of another awesome Xbox controller. The Xbox 360 controller is coming in. It is coming from Hyperkin. If you remember, they made these a couple of years ago. The Duke, the OG Xbox Duke, the one that initially came with the OG Xbox before they changed to the S-type controller, because this thing was massive. But for people like me who have bigger hands, or just people who really like the ergonomics of this thing, it was a sad time when they completely phased out the Duke controller. So I was really happy to see Hyperkin brought this back, and they have a bunch of different versions of this actually, which is really cool. And I had to pick this up. It's awesome. I do use it. It fits great in my hands. and it has this really cool animation when it's plugged in where it shows the original Xbox logo coming up. So I love what Hyperkin is doing by bringing back these old Xbox controllers, and they're at it again here with the Xbox 360. So this is the tweet from Hyperkin, and they say, today, 17 years ago, the Xbox 360 launched to much acclaim, now announcing the Xenon, a replica of the official Xbox 360 controller, licensed with designed for Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, Windows 10 and 11 PCs, full circle back in control, details to come. Now here it is. You can see the picture of it. I think like it looks awesome. It has like the shiny Xbox button there, exactly what you would want out of a replica from the 360 controller in terms of having all of the actual additional features of a controller on the Xbox Series consoles, with these two buttons here and then the capture button. Now it is wired just like this one. This one is wired too, which I think is completely fine depending on your setup and everything. In fact, for me, when it came to the Xbox 360 controller, I probably used my 360 wired controller more so than I actually used the wireless one. And one of the things with the 360 controller that I didn't like, one of the small gripes I had, was that battery pack in the back, because sometimes it kind of squish your hands a little bit. With the wired one, you didn't have that issue, and it's going to be great to see that we're not going to have that issue here with this one. So really, really cool. Definitely something I'm going to look into picking up, because I love the 360 controller. Probably my top 3 favorite controllers of all time. I'd have to use it again for a while and see how it feels against the Xbox Series controllers than the Xbox One. But in my opinion, the Xbox is the best controller out there. So great to see Hyperkin bring this back. And I'm excited to see when they're going to be releasing it, the pricing and all of that type of stuff. And I almost forgot to mention this because I think this is a good thing that people are going to want to know. And that is, does it have features like the impulse triggers that the Series X and the Xbox One controller has? And it does. It says here that it has precision analog impulse triggers, modern amenities for the Xbox Series X and S menu, view, and share buttons, vibration feedback for realistic experiences, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and a detachable Type-C cable. So you're still going to be able to get the impulse triggers with this controller here. And finally, let's talk about Xbox and Apple. We know Xbox and Apple have had a tumultuous relationship. They seemingly don't like each other, and it continues to not be a great relationship, especially when it comes to Xbox and Xbox Game Pass. As we know, with the Apple versus Epic case, there was information that came out that Apple was stopping Xbox from being able to put their Xbox Game Pass app on Apple devices, on iOS devices, because they were not able to go in there and see every single game within Xbox Game Pass and then rate them as to whether they're games that they would want on the Apple Store. The workaround that I think Microsoft and Xbox had said for them to do this before they actually released the browser version of Xbox Game Pass was they would actually have to release every single game separately on the Apple Store, which was just completely unrealistic. And then we know Phil Spencer made his promise that they are still going to give access to Apple users for Xbox Game Pass, and he did that by delivering Xbox Cloud Gaming via the browser. Well, now we have this, and it has to do with regulators. The UK regulators, as we know, have been looking at Xbox with their acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Now they're investigating Apple for blocking Xbox Game Pass. So it says here, the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, launched a market investigation that will look at how Apple and Google dominate the mobile space. Specifically saying, exercise a stronghold over operating systems, app stores, and web browsers on mobile devices. I mean, you look at Apple and you look at Google, those are the two main stores for the mobile market. There really is no other competitor out there. They are a duopoly in that sense. And we know Xbox has actually come out and said that they are considering making a mobile store for Xbox gaming, for potentially Xbox Mobile in the future. And they're considering how they're going to be able to compete with the companies like Google and Apple, who have such a strong stranglehold right now. So like I said, as we know right now, to get access to Xbox Game Pass on an Apple device, you have to go through a browser. And you have to use Xbox Cloud Gaming. And that is obviously not the best option out there. You look at the Game Pass app on an Android device, it's a great app. It's native. You go in there, you click a game you want to play, boom, it launches you right into the cloud gaming. You don't need to open a browser and then type in the address and all of that type of stuff. And all browsers on iOS actually have to use the Safari rendering engine, which could definitely have a big impact for cloud gaming through the browsers. They say here, ultimately, these restrictions limit choice and make it more difficult to bring innovative new apps to the hands of UK consumers. At the same time, Apple and Google have argued that restrictions are needed to protect users. The CMA's market investigation will consider these concerns and consider whether new rules are needed to drive better outcomes. And Xbox Cloud Gaming actually went through a testing period, and here's what Microsoft said on how this testing period went, specifically on iOS. They say, our testing period for the Project X Cloud preview app for iOS has expired. Unfortunately, we do not have a path to bring our vision of cloud gaming with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate to gamers on iOS via the Apple App Store. Apple stands alone as the only general purpose platform to deny consumers from cloud gaming and game subscription services like Xbox Game Pass, and it consistently treats gaming apps differently, applying more lenient rules to non-gaming apps, even when they include interactive content. And to me, it's pretty obvious what Apple's trying to do here. They want to make sure that people are only able to play the stuff that they selectively choose for them. I mean, essentially that's what Apple is doing by now outlining Xbox Game Pass on there. And they want to be able to take all of the revenues and all the profits through these apps, where if you're making a microtransaction, you actually have to go through the Apple Store so that Apple gets a piece of that profit. That was the big thing with the Fortnite and Epic versus Apple case, where basically Fortnite was like, hey, we want people to make purchases through Fortnite without having to go through the Apple Store so that they can take more of the revenues. And Apple's against that. They want to have that closed ecosystem where you're locked to everything, and they force on you what you can do with the device. That's one reason why I just don't like Apple devices, why I use Android, and why it's something why I love Xbox as well. And you compare it to PlayStation, where PlayStation really locks you in. You have to jailbreak that thing really if you want to get a bunch of extra features, which, I mean, that's cool if you want to do that. But with Xbox, they're like, hey, we know people want to have access to more features, so we're just going to give them a developer mode. They can go in, they can add all of that emulator stuff. And even now, you don't even need a developer mode, I don't believe, to actually add awesome emulators, and stuff runs great. I'm always against when these big companies try to pigeonhole you into doing certain things on your device after you spent the money and bought your device. I don't like that. And Apple has always kind of rubbed me the wrong way with the way that they do stuff, which is why I probably will never be using an iPhone. And obviously, for the other reason, Xbox Game Pass. On Android, it's a great smooth experience, especially if you're playing games with the touch controls now. Like I've just been playing Vampire Survivors, probably one of the most perfect games you can play with touch controls via Xbox Cloud Gaming. But that's it for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts on all of this stuff. Let me know if you're going to look for that deal on the Instagram shop for Xbox. What do you think about Hyperkin bringing back the Xbox 360 controller? And what are your thoughts on Apple and Xbox Game Pass? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.